Hi guys, this is Gene Bruno. I am an attorney at Bruno & Associates. We are personal injury lawyers in San Diego, California. Today we're going to be talking about how to prove lost wages after a car accident. The person who caused the accident is responsible for all the damage they cause. That would include paying to repair your car, compensating you for your injuries, but also compensating you for any time that you've lost from work, any earnings that you've lost as a result of your injuries. There are a variety of reasons as to why you may have lost wages as a result of a car accident. First, you may be inconvenienced by not having a car. If your car is in the shop or damaged and not drivable, then obviously you cannot get to work, or if your job involves driving, such as Uber and Lyft, well, in that case, your lost wages should be paid out of the property damage portion of your claim because it's related to the loss of the vehicle. If you're not able to get to work because you're too injured to work, because your doctor has put you off work due to your injuries, or because you are missing work due to medical appointments, therapy appointments, then those lost wages would be paid out of the injury portion of your claim. Those are two different portions of the claim. Two different cap amounts or maximum recovery amounts apply, and so it's important to know how to recover all of your lost wages from both of those sources. If you have a doctor's note, that is the best evidence to prove that your injury and thus your time off from work due to that injury should be compensated out of your case. If you don't have a doctor's note, there's usually enough evidence in your medical records to establish that you needed time off from work. But again, that depends on how long you're going to be out of work and the type of injuries you have. The best evidence is to ask your doctor to provide a note. In terms of proving your lost earnings, in other words, how much are you going to be compensated for the time you lost at work, it's important to make the distinction between hourly employees and salary employees. Hourly employees is an easier calculation. We look at how many hours or how many days you lost from work times your hourly rate, and those records from your employer, including any payroll records, are very easy evidence to establish the amount that you lost. For salary, it might be a little bit more difficult because as a salaried employee, you're not clocking in and out due to work, but you may be using up PTO in order to get to doctor's appointments or to stay home and rest if that's your doctor's order. Regardless of whether you're hourly or salary, you may be asked or required by your employer to use paid time off, such as sick time or vacation time, rather than just taking time off. Or you may financially need to have money coming in rather than waiting till the end of your case to be compensated. And so in that case, you may want to use up your vacation or sick time to cover time off due to your injuries. The law says that now that you've used those benefits, well, you may not have those benefits later on. If you use vacation time as a result of your car accident, you no longer have that vacation time when you want to actually do something fun. Likewise, if you use your sick time now as a result of the car accident, you will not be able to take a day off if you feel sick or ill due to the flu or some other reason. So the law does allow you to be compensated for any paid time off that you exhaust because of your injury. It's, again, something that in terms of evidence would be provided by your employer in any payroll records that your attorney would request directly from your employer. So if you don't have that information down to the penny, we certainly can get it off of your wage statements or payroll check statements, but your employer would also have that information. If you're self-employed and making a claim for lost earnings, that's a very tricky situation. The reason it's a tricky situation is self-employed people typically have variations or fluctuations in income. One month may be more profitable than another. You may have more work one month than another. And so because of those fluctuations, it's a totally different calculation than simply looking at how many hours you were out and multiplying that by your hourly rate. In the event of self-employed persons, usually the insurance company wants to look at tax returns. It may be your personal tax returns, or it may be your company tax returns, or both, Typically, they will want to see 1, 2, or 3 years of tax returns. And what they're looking for is a pattern of how much you typically make as a self-employed person over a period of years to be sure that they're not overcompensating you, because insurance companies never want to pay you too much. So if you can prove that you have a steady source of income even as a self-employed person, you can and should be compensated for that time off. However, your tax returns are extremely private information, and there's going to be a lot of deductions and other personal information you may not want to share with an insurance company. So be aware that that is an issue you will have to deal with. I'll do a separate video on future lost earnings, or what we call diminished earning capacity. If you're a self-employed plumber or carpenter who has sustained a serious back injury as a result of an accident, you may not be able to return to your job. You may end up getting another job that may not pay the same, may pay less than your old job. That's diminished earning capacity. It's future earnings, and I'll do a separate video on that. I hope you'll watch it. I hope this has been helpful. If you have sustained any lost earnings, the calculations can be somewhat complicated. Your attorney would be happy to look at all of the documentation from your employer to determine exactly how much you should be compensated. If you've been injured in a car accident and are struggling to figure out how much your lost earnings claim should be and what you're entitled to, call us. We'd be happy to help. Thanks for watching.